Hello everybody, Nate Dash back doing what I traditionally do best, and of course wearing my wonderful Nike cap so I don't actually have to brush my hair prior to coming onto the camera like any other standard, ordinary, everyday, lazy bastard. Anyway, getting on with answering a private message about a strange experience. Here we go. It says here, "Hello Nick, I think your channel is one of the coolest on YouTube." Hey, cool. I never thought I'd quite have that kind of effect on people, but obviously I'm doing something right somewhere along the line here, but never mind. And people can learn a lot from it, so I would like to ask you a couple of questions. I had some strange experiences while staring into the mirror, and I know a lot of people post them on the internet, and most say it's a thing that has to do with light contrast, but it's also known that Aleister Crowley used mirrors. Anyway, I looked into it and saw a human face but with animal characteristics. I also saw a black man with a turban. How can explain this? I'm a believer that other worlds exist out there. Okay. Let's start from the top. When you're staring into a mirror, whether you're chanting Bloody Mary or whatever, you are possibly encouraging a persistence of vision effects. Now, persistence of vision is when just like I got this bright light like shining in my face now. If I close my eyes, I can still see it, kind of like in negative and kind of like some kind of strange way because the cells in the eye, whatever was it, rods and cones? That's right. They kind of like try and neutralize it or blank it out somehow so your vision can adjust to light and contrast and the rest of it. And if you're staring at your reflection, what you're going to be doing is having the same kind of effect but with your reflection. If you're doing it in like a meditative way, your mind is going to be trying to fill in the blanks, which the persistence of vision effect is kind of like taking away. Because you know you're staring at a face, you know you're staring at your face, it's your reflection, okay? So essentially you want to try and separate what your mind's trying to do from the actual experience itself, if you know what I mean. You got to be analytical when you're having these experiences. I've had black mirror experiences. That's my black mirror up there, okay, which is just a clip frame with a piece of black cardboard in it. And I've seen like strange lizard-like animal faces and all sorts of things, and things with large teeth and staring eyes, and thinking that things are just going to like reach out and get me. The black mirror itself can be quite a frightening experience, and sometimes you can get like an overwhelming feeling of fear whilst you're doing it, which may even kind of like be enhancing the effect. Because like you may be doing it with like candles around you. Obviously when you're using candles either side of the black mirror, it's so the light can come from the candles, bounce off your face into the mirror, so you then get the persistence of vision effect from that. Okay, that's essentially what it's all about. The lights themselves do not bounce off the mirror. The lights come from the candles to your face, gets reflected off the mirror back to you, so you can then see the reflection of your face, and the persistence of vision effect like kicks in. And that's why, the black mirror in a totally dark room, two candles either side, and lots of ritual to bring out the atmosphere. Do the whole like candles, incense, like weird ritual spell books, the whole thing, just to make yourself even more freaky. Do it on a special night of the week, which you normally associate with things being totally freaky and scary. Halloween is coming, okay? So that's going to be good fun. But on the other hand, if you personally can't handle it, don't do it. All right, seriously. Because like it's up to you. You got to be in charge of the experience. Don't let somebody else come to you and say you got to do this. It's so cool. Because basically they could be wanting to enjoy seeing you go crazy, and you don't want that. Okay, so that's what I would say there. You can say that the experience can be purely psychological, because we don't know. You say here, I am a believer that other worlds exist out there. Well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Yes, I've had a full astral projection before, so essentially I would say that I may have a belief that there is an afterlife, another world, other planes, or whatever you want to call them. Yes, but that is a belief, okay? That is a belief. All right, and if we're going to be intelligent, we got to be able to work out where we have beliefs and where we have knowledge and facts, and we don't have knowledge and facts about things in the other world, because all we got is these incredibly elaborate, complex, confusing, weird, spiritual, tranquil, strange experiences which have an effect upon us, because we have the capacity to have those experiences. All right, we have the capacity to have those experiences, but we don't know what they mean. All right, so what can this mean? How can we explain this? We can explain this quite naturally with psychology. We can explain this quite naturally with the persistence of vision effects and the fact that you are someone who is of the opinion that there are strange things which can happen out there. And as a result of that, you know, you're even more likely, because your mind sets the way that you perceive the world, the way that you experience your reality, okay, is going to have an impact upon the results, okay? I mean, a total, you know, physical world hardcore atheist will probably have fuck all happen, possibly. Someone who's more meditative, prayerful, religious, spiritual will have something more happening anyway, because that's just the way the mind works in that kind of person. And there are those who don't analyze stuff, who are much more likely to have things, you know, experiences coming at them or flowing up from their mind to enable the experience to occur, because they're the kind of person who doesn't analyze things. They're more creative, they're more receptive, all right? And that's just the way that they work, right? That's the way that they work, that's the way they're put together, okay? I'm put together in a certain way, you're put together in a certain way. Everyone looks at things from a different frame of reference, and there's no singular, hard and fast, concrete truth, because we're all, you know, different minds, you know, and we're all different bodies. And if I put something else like, you know, my nicotine from my electronic cigarette into my body, I become a slightly different person than when I put large quantities of white organic tea into my body. All right, so little things like that can affect you. If I've had a good diet, I'm going to think and perform a damn sight better than if I've had like a different type of diet, or I've had too much sugar, or I've had too much fat, or I've had not enough greens, or too much broccoli and not enough carbohydrates. If there's something imbalanced about what I'm putting in my body, or indeed when I'm getting busy on my cross trainer and I'm exhausting myself, all right. And my body's saying eat, just fucking eat, okay? Because you're on a calorie deficit. Get some fucking food inside you. But let's say I don't. I'm going to experience the world in a different way yet again. So these are things you do have to think about when you're thinking about whether something you've experienced is actual proof conclusive. All right, because proof is a stage in a debate. All right, proof is a stage in a debate. All right. It's not necessarily conclusive. There are proofs, or things which seem to prove it, or forms of evidence, but those evidence, or forms of evidence, only say we are a form of evidence. They don't actually demonstrate what the evidence seems to be about. This is what I've been saying for a long time, okay? This is what I must have been saying in like a quarter or 10% or 20% or 30% of my videos, you know, some big number like that. And with over 1,900 fucking videos out there, we must be talking about a fair quantity of like ones and zeros floating around in cyberspace, or stored on like Google's computer hard drive-y weird complexy technology thing somewhere out there where no one can get at it unless they've got cyber encrypted keys, and or just a version of Chrome and they can do something really cool with it. All right. And there's all this stuff which I've been saying, it's out there, and it just says that like we don't fucking know. All right. That's right, imagine that. A guy from his living room doing over 1,900 videos which has one particular message, and that is, we don't know. Imagine that. It surely is one of the funniest things in the world, okay, but it's also true. Okay, I'm saying something which is a hard and fast truth, and the truth is that there's things we don't know. And the things that we don't know are things which people make a living out of saying that they do know. Alright? And on top of that, you got all the various stuff on the horror channel and the sci-fi channel, which is all based upon the people who say that this, that and the other is true. And people who are interested in that sort of thing watch that type of movie or read that type of book and think, oh yes, that's what I really must have done. I really am a light worker from Charmed, or or no, I'm Gandalf. Yes, that's how people think. All right, because they're starting to equate, especially these days when we're living in a sea of media. Can you believe it? I had this guy come down, right, to my front door, waxing lyrical, evangelical about lovefilm.com, right? And I had to tell him, listen, man, okay, I got YouTube, all right, I got Crackle, which is free, I got Netflix, which I pay £6 a month for because I like that kind of stuff occasionally, and I can, it's advert free. There's I got cable TV. There's Blog Talk Radio. There's Kindle download books. There's an occasional free ebook. There's websites I can read. Okay, there's all this stuff. Why the fuck do I need any more goddamn motherfucking media? Why? Why? Because like, if you've got so much media going on, when do people have a chance to sit down and think? Right? When do people think about it? Okay. When do people sit down and think about stuff and go back to the way in which they tried to learn how to think when they were young, and they were asking questions and they were talking to their teacher and getting feedback from people they knew and trying to work out what was true and thought about the processes of how they found out what was true. Then all of a sudden the 21st century comes and bam, it stops dead in its tracks. All right, and you know why? Alright, because we've got all this shit all around us which is telling us, okay, actually telling us what could be true, what is true. Some people are saying this, yes, there really is a pink elephant right on the moon right now who's dancing a jig. I believe it, and it's true, okay? There's people out there who are doing this stuff, alright? And there's other people out there who say, oh, wow, yes, he said it quite convincingly. Oh, there must be a reason why he said that quite so convincingly. And I've fallen into that trap before myself as well. Okay, it wasn't about pink elephants on the moon, but you know what I mean. Alright? That's another reason why these videos that I'm doing are out there, because there are people just like me when I was a kid. Alright? When I was in my 20s. And thinking like, oh, this is the way it has to be, or that's the way it has to be, or and all this information coming at you, okay? Stop it. Differentiate now between your beliefs and your actual level of knowledge. Alright? Filter through all the stuff. Well, I think there's evidence there because of that experience. No, you had an experience. A cool experience, a groovy experience, a frightening experience, a sexy experience in some particular way. It really did get to you and made you, oh, yeah, baby, what? That means I'm someone because, I've got myself my crystal wands and I've got me antlers and pentagrams and yeah, I'm a something. But are you? Okay? Are you really a something? Because you got all this... I used to go around wearing a cannabis waistcoat, alright? I had this black t-shirt covered in skulls. I had this belt buckle, which was like... I think it was an oxen's skull with horns sticking out, and I wore that as a medallion. Bloody great, big scary lump of brass around my neck, okay? I had a death's head ring on my finger, okay? All these like pentagrams and occult and really tacky jewellery like hanging down my neck. And I wore torn jeans and cowboy boots, right? And I felt like I was something. Because I was connecting with all these people who was coming out with all this stuff, right? And yeah, we know it works. We're here. We know it works. We know it works. It works. It works. We know it works. Yes, I used to believe it was purely psychological, but now I know it works. Yeah, that's what they were saying. And it was all part of the whole thing. You know what I mean? The image, all this, that and the other, the going out and seeing people all the time who are saying the same thing, being a part of this feeling of community, whatever the hell that was, going out regularly and hearing all these regular speakers who are into this, that and the other, who had that experience, had this experience, and says, oh yeah, therefore it's true. Yes, and I do all my magic naked, Oh, okay, well, fine, that's up to you, of course, fine, yeah. But you meet all kinds of weird people, okay, you really do. And whenever you're meeting in people in the fringe section of society, alright, any fringe section of society, I'm going so much more mainstream now, I'm like going grey. Alright, I'm positively going grey. My skin is going a hue of monochrome. I'm going into this like black and white, old-fashioned TV screen, like, oh god, two-dimensional. I'm getting so fucking boring these days. It's not true, right? But whenever you're in a subculture, you will get subcultural ideas being picked up, alright? And there will be a thinking within the group. Alright, and that will be based upon or connected to these words that people use, these phrases that people use, the clothes that they wear, okay? So this you've got to be careful of. Because these subcultural groups can in fact manipulate, without you knowing it, they can seriously manipulate the way that you're thinking. And part of you starts thinking more and more in line with this, that and the other. And I observe myself going through this, okay? It makes you start to think in a way which is in keeping with the way in which people were talking. Alright? And a lot of things people said when they were talking were in fact bullshit, because they hadn't thought things through. Or they did things which were so exciting because, I don't know, they'd go out into the woods and cast a circle and, oh yeah, and they come out with all these strange stories about earth mists coming up and all this kind of stuff and these strange guardian spirits, and oh god, wasn't that scary? And it might have all been lies. Alright? Be careful of these people. Be careful of this. Because it will adjust your perspective of reality. It will adjust your perspective of what's real in this world and what's real in the next world, if there is a next world. Alright? Okay, so it might be one book here or one book there, or something you've gone downloaded on your phone that's got like all kinds of like weird, wonderful stuff on it. Oh, he's written something. Well, it must be true. No. He's written something, so he's written something. Alright? He said something, so he said something. It's just pixels, letters, numbers. Alright. And what they're doing is they're trying to draw you into that subcultural thinking. Whether it's done subconsciously or deliberately, it doesn't matter. You know, they're doing it. They're having an effect upon bringing you into that. Alright? And then you want to try and find an answer to a problem that was written inside of one particular book. And so you go and get another book, alright? And then you see something there and think, oh, does that mean something? Oh, I'll go and get another book. When I bought The Projection of the Astral Body by Sylvan Muldoon and Harold Carrington, there was a whopping great bibliography and reference section at the back. And there was this whole section of books which Sylvan Muldoon himself had actually gone through and tried to get hold of to try and understand astral projection. And I actually went down the library on a regular basis, and I was ticking them off. I was going through them, you know, one by one as I was trying to get my knowledge together. And I was also trying to understand the influences upon Sylvan Muldoon's thinking. Because if those were the books he read, that led him to think this, that led him to think that, or did it? You know, I mean, maybe. These are the books he read. So I wanted to read those books so I could understand his character more. Okay? And all I did was, Sylvan Muldoon actually got really disparaged by occultists. Okay, yes, the existence of the astral body has been known for centuries. Yes, there's been all kinds of writings and paintings and drawings going back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Yes, fine. It's mentioned in all kinds of traditions. St. Francis was supposed to have had a translocation happening whereby people saw him in another place where he wasn't, because he was actually somewhere else in meditation and prayer. That's a translocation. That's basically a very strong astral projection whereby someone else could see it. Now, the other person who saw it, maybe they're already in meditation. All right, so maybe that's one of the reasons why they could see this thing that was coming out through a meditation. Right? Maybe that was it. We don't know. You and I, we've got questions. We haven't got answers. All right, we've got questions, not answers. But the more experiences you have, the more questions you've got. That can be a good thing. But if you reach a point of having too many questions, then slow down. Slow right down. Because you can drive yourself insane. Intellectually, you can drive yourself insane. You can drive yourself insane through being on YouTube, watching too many videos about scary occultist weirdos. Alright? You can drive yourself crazy by not looking after your diet, your nutrition, your exercise and your sleep. And watching conspiracy theory videos, as I did a few years ago. And I had to come back from it somehow. Slow right down. So your question was, how can I explain this? This one particular experience you've had. I explain it as an experience. I don't explain it by telling you that something that some individual from a subculture said something and therefore it must be true because there's some kind of correlation or connection to what you'd experienced. Because I'm brighter than them. And I'm brighter than what they think you are. And I think you're brighter than them, that's why you're asking me a question. But your experience can't give you an answer. It can only give you an experience. I would then say something like, well, then it's over to you, old chap. But if I was to do that, I'd basically be like saying, someone else out there will have an answer. and you might as well choose theirs. I don't think that's right, because their answer will be, no, you've definitely opened up a portal to the other world, and Satan and Beelzebub and all these little wizards are going to come through and fuck you up the arse with a coconut, or whatever. Or someone else will say, no, it means you're a very spiritual, gifted person. Yes, yes, yes. Or you're on the side of goodness because you're consorting with demons and I'm a Satanist and therefore that's okay. Yes, yeah. Oh, fuck off. Fuck the lot of them. Alright? If you get 3 blind men and you give them an elephant and one of them's got the tail, one of them's got the trunk and one of them's got a leg, what are they going to say? They're going to say that they've come across 3 different things. Get 50 people, give them the same strange experience, and what are they going to say the strange experience is about? 50 different fucking things. At least 50. Possibly 100, 200. And if they're drunk, probably about 500. And if they're smoking cannabis, they'll give you, wow, man. And that'll be the answer. Or just like, yeah, it's just like the thing, man. Yeah. That works. Yeah, whoa. Groovy. It's just kind of like converge, man. Back on like, oh, yeah. Or whatever. Yeah, and I've known people like that too. This is what is so annoying, alright? Because we got like, we all have a million questions. And we all want one answer. And there isn't one. Apart from the fact an experience proves you can have an experience. Don't fucking prove anything else. And all the subcultural weirdos out there, whether they're conspiracy theorists, whether they're high magicians or black satanic weird fucks or Wiccans and pagans and all this bloody bullshit. You know, because they're only in their culture. Okay, my battery died, so I've had to restart. Anyways, I was saying, all these other people from other different groups, alright, they're in their little groups for the same reason everybody is in their own little groups, right? Because it makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel that their identity is somehow being created or built or is having something really wonderful happening to it. It massages their ego. It makes them feel safe. Same reason why I'm involved in Anglicanism. Oh well, actually no, that's got more to it, I think. All right, because like, oh, I'll do a video about that another time. But essentially, what does it actually mean? You know. What does it actually matter that someone's a 3rd degree initiated Wiccan as opposed to someone being a baptised and confirmed Anglican? It means the same fucking thing. It means you're starting a journey in a particular religion. And it is just a fucking religion. All these people who say that they are like massive, superior spiritual beings because they wear green velvets and they, I don't know, masturbate in a different way, or, you know, they've done all, you know, they pierce their finger with a needle so they can get a drop of their blood to put on their little sigil to make their magic more strong and powerful. They're just another bunch of inadequate wanker. Alright, that's all. It's not because like they're tremendous and yeah, well, you know, the ultimate, like, we're real cutting edge fringe, you know, frontier scientists who are trying to fucking, no. They don't have the balls or the brains. Seriously. Scientists? When's the last time you come across some scientific thought in a person in you know, occultism and all the rest of that? Well, there's me and there's Darryl Sloan. Apart from us, who is there? Think about it. Seriously, think about it. You know, I mean, it's kind of like a whole phase or stage thing that people go through, you know? And people do connect to these things for phases or stages. You know, why is it the person would join a god and goddess religion? In some respects, it's because they had an issue with their parents when they were young, and they were using the god and the goddess to substitute for the parent figures. Alright? Why is it that some people are involved in Christianity and want to see God as a father? Because some of them, not all of them, but some of them, have had issues with their father, their earthly father, alright? And so they've chosen God to be their father because they need a substitute. There's always, well, not always, but there is this like psychodynamic, psychological, all kinds of weird stuff, which is why people connect with cults and cultures and all the rest of that kind of jazz. Alright? So don't fucking listen to these people. Because everyone's a lunatic. Alright? All of us, we're all lunatics. You're a lunatic. I'm a lunatic. Your best friend's a lunatic. Your teachers in school, definitely lunatics. Alright? Prime Minister or President of your country, total motherfucking lunatic. Best doctors and scientists in the world, all have got one screw loose, or two. Alright? Your cat's mental. Totally fucking mental. Because all creatures who have any consciousness perceive the world through some kind of filter. Alright, some kind of complex filter. And there is a biblical phrase which connects with this, and it says that right now we see through the world like through a glass darkly or something, and then we will see face to face. Like as you go through your progression in life, you will learn to understand more. But the first thing you got to understand is that people are mental. People are mental. Alright, it's important that you know this, that you learn this, that you understand this, that you like get this really ingrained in yourself. And these days, think about it, some wanker coming to my door trying to sell me yet more media. Like if I wanted to get more media, I've got a computer, I can go online. Oh, is there any more media out there? Do a fucking Google search. And what would it say? It would say, hey, why don't you click on this, spend a bit more money per month, or don't spend any more money per month, and just be bombarded with spam and adverts. There you go, and we'll provide you with some films which are so outdated, the effects don't just look like latex, they look more like egg cup holders which have been glued to somebody's head in order to turn them into an alien. I mean, it's all out there, isn't it? Everything, everyone's opinion is out there, which is a good thing in some respects, but on the other hand, the average individual is sitting back on their backside, they're absorbing an argument, alright? They're absorbing it. They're typing in a search into YouTube search bar, into Google search bar, into Wikipedia search bar, like we all do. And they say, oh, this must be the answer. No, it's not the answer, it's an opinion. Alright? They look at a scientific study. They look at the conclusion of a scientific study. Ah, that must be the answer. No, that's the answer so far. In accordance with the way that experiment was done, if that experiment was done properly, may have been some kind of like opportunities for there to be some constructive criticism, and even the peer review of that one particular scientific study might have had some kind of problems to it. Right? Alright? So it's just opinions. It's just the ideas people are throwing out there. And the last thing you want to do, right, this is like just me talking to you, okay? Sitting down, having a smoke, having a cup of tea, just talking to you, right? Because like this you need to know. It's like we're building up our understanding of the world, not based upon experience, research, thought and criticism, but based upon belief. Alright, I'll tell you what, stay there a minute. I'm not proud of it, I got a credit card recently so I can help to build up my credit rating. But they sent me through this, which was all about their changes to their terms and conditions. And if I was not Nick Dutch, alright, if I was somebody else, I would probably read this thinking, okay, so they only want an extra £1.50 from me per £100 that I borrow. Okay, that sounds like a good idea if it gives me more leeway. Whereas I look at this and I think these people are trying to sell to you, whoever you are, the idea that if they take you as some poor schmuck who's in debt who can't handle credit, they can charge you even more money, alright, thus increasing your debt, thus fucking you up the arse even more, to give you the illusion that they're helping you when in fact they're not. I'm not opting in. You know what I mean? Because it's giving you a message of comfort, security on the basis you just pay a bit more money. No, it's not insurance. We're just going to charge you extra money. Alright? Between the lines, mate. Between the lines. Look after yourself. Stay sane. Don't believe the lying, cheating, stealing, mad motherfucking bastards who are humans. Because they're always going to lead you astray. Well, not always, but once in a while they do. Because it's between the lines. You've got to be reading. And the best way of learning how to read between the lines is to not start from the point of view of a person is stating something which is fact. Sleep tight.